Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Now at 6, dozens of police and sheriff's deputies are searching for someone who escaped custody in Fayetteville. What we know from an officer who was part of that search early this morning.
And the deadline for Mark Robinson to drop from the governor's race passed 6 hours ago. How he's responding to a CNN report claiming he made disturbing claims on porn websites and what this means for other Republicans running for office.
And a little bit of patchy fog, especially in the Sandhills this morning. This is a live look at Pinehurst. I'll show you what the conditions will look like as you're heading out the door.
And in a late night vote, Durham school leaders approve a pay supplement for some employees. Who is affected and how much more they'll be paid. A lot to tell you about here on this Friday morning. We're glad you're with us here in the 6 o'clock hour. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lovingood in for Jeff Hogan. We made it to Friday.
We
Congratulations,
sure
everyone. Now, of course, you are probably wondering what you're going to do this weekend and what the weather is going to be like. Don't worry. Elizabeth Gardner has been looking into that very carefully in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Yeah, we're looking at a decent weekend. I'm going to go over the things that you'll want to just be aware of coming up. But we're going to take a look first at Pinehurst, where we're dealing with some fog this morning. Unfortunately, the sensors are down here, but I would guess visibility is down to around a quarter of a mile. We're not seeing that really anywhere else. Visibility anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could be some low cloud cover in spots that we'll see as the sun comes up, but expect partly cloudy skies for the bulk of the day today. This is a live look at North Hills, where it's pretty comfortable. 67 is the temperature, 65 is the dew point. That puts us technically in the nice zone. It is 61 in Roxborough and 68 in Clinton, so temperatures mostly are in the mid to upper 60s, just a little bit cooler up there in Roxborough. Here's a look at Futurecast, showing up with a mix of sun and clouds this morning. It'll be partly cloudy this afternoon, and we'll have just a few isolated cells that pop up later today. Give it a 20% chance of seeing any rain for today, and that would be during the afternoon and evening. It is going to be warm and a little muggy with high temperatures in the mid 80s. We'll take a look at our chances for rain for Saturday and Sunday coming up.
And we head out to the roads this morning. Things are looking great so far. We did have an earlier crash here that has since cleared. That was just northwest there of the city of Raleigh. We're looking good. No major crashes to report at the moment. All of those major routes are also in great shape. I-40, no delays showing up. We'll continue to keep a close eye on it, though, for you as we go through the morning.
Thank you, Anthony. This morning, we are staying on top of two breaking news stories. One story, the deadline passing for Mark Robinson to drop from the North Carolina race for governor, despite calls for him to do so. That's because of comments he reportedly made on a porn website that came to light in a CNN report. The other story we're going to start with, dozens of police and sheriff's deputies in Cumberland County are actively searching for someone they say escaped custody. Let's go to WRAL's Nick Perlin at the sheriff's office and the WRAL breaking news tracker. And Nick, it's not quite clear, though, where this person escaped custody.
Hey, Chris, there's still plenty of questions we're asking the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office this morning. We're trying to find out who this person was that escaped and where exactly he escaped from. Let's get you to some video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. This is from last night, and this is on Sycamore Dairy Road. And you can see dozens of law enforcement here, as well as drones and canines were even out trying to help find this escaped inmate. Now, somebody did tell, one law enforcement officer, I should say, did tell WRAL that they were searching for an escaped inmate. But again, we're still trying to find out where exactly this person escaped from and when this all happened. We did get confirmation just a short while ago that the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office is in charge of this investigation, but they still have not found this escaped inmate. So we're going to keep asking more questions and try to get more information on who that inmate is. And as I get more information, I'll be sure to update you. Live in Cumberland County, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
This morning, Republican nominee for governor Mark Robinson is officially staying on the ballot. The midnight deadline for him to drop out of the race passed after calls for him to step down. This all comes after a CNN report that says Robinson made disturbing comments on a porn site before he ran for political office. Robinson denies these allegations, calling them salacious tabloid lies. Today, the big question remains, what does this mean for the November election? WR's Kelsey Coffey is staying on top of these new developments for us. She joins us live from the governor's mansion with more on the allegations and the potential impact for November. Kelsey.
Renee, as of this morning, Mark Robinson's name will be on your ballot despite the turn that the race has taken to here to the governor's mansion. CNN released a report yesterday that alleges Robinson made lewd and racist comments on a porn site, including saying he was, quote, a black Nazi, and wrote posts expressing support for reinstating slavery. Robinson later appeared on CNN for an interview and denied the claims.
We are not getting out of this race. There are people who are counting on us to win this race.
The state GOP later released a statement. It appears they're standing with him, but not all North Carolina Republicans are in support. Some are calling for him to back out of the race. NC State professor Stephen Green says a Robinson withdrawal could bring more supporters.
I think Republicans to some degree have to look at what happened with Joe Biden stepping aside and Kamala Harris making this a much more presidential campaign and wishing they could do something similar in the North Carolina governor's campaign.
We'll stay on top of this and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Now, despite this CNN report about Robinson, the North Carolina Republican Party is standing behind him. The party issued a statement on X last night. It says in part, quote, Mark Robinson has categorically denied the allegations made by CNN, but that won't stop the left from trying to demonize him via personal attacks. The party also mentions that it believes the election is about policy, and that is why they are confident the Republican Party will win in November.
State Treasurer Dale Folwell, who also sought the Republican nomination for governor and has been a longtime critic of Robinson, shared his unease with Robinson's alleged comments. He spoke to WRAL about how this affects other Republicans running for office in our state.
The Republican Party that I joined nearly 50 years ago was a party that was based on conservatism and common sense, and courtesy, humanity, humility, and ethics. And this reporting that's gone on today shows that he really has none of those.
The WRAL NC Capitol team spoke with sources all day, and once we had confirmed calls for Robinson to step down from some Republicans, we sent this push alert. Download the WRAL News app to be the first to know about breaking news. Coming up in 30 minutes, hear what Martin Luther King Jr.'s son says about Robinson's alleged racist comments toward his father and the action he's taking now.
Former President Donald Trump will be back in North Carolina this weekend. He's scheduled for a rally in Wilmington tomorrow afternoon. Just days ago, his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, visited Raleigh. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris continued her campaign last night in Michigan. She sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a live-streamed event called Unite for America. Harris took questions from voters about the cost of living, reproductive rights, and immigration. U.S. Senator Mark Kelly will be in North Carolina today. He's going to be campaigning for Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. He'll speak about their commitment to lowering the cost of health care and tax cuts. Kelly will speak with seniors at a breakfast in Winston-Salem, and then he'll head to Raleigh to speak with veterans at 1 p.m.
New this morning, some staff at Durham schools will now get more money in their monthly paycheck. Just before 11:30 last night, the board voted unanimously to approve an additional $80 per month in the supplemental pay for some employees. This comes as the district has been overhauling its salary schedules for classified employees following protests last year. The positions included in this increase are speech language pathologists, psychologists, ideologists, school counselors, teachers, nurses, as well as instructional support personnel.
A man in Durham was arrested in connection to a child sexual assault investigation. 35-year-old Nathan Gilgore, right here on your screen, is charged with 2 counts of statutory rape and 4 counts of taking indecent liberties with a child. He is being held in the Durham County Jail under a $1.5 million bond.
This morning, North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein will speak at an event about drug use in our state. The North Carolina Opioid and Drug Abuse Advisory Committee will hold a meeting this morning about the state's Substance Abuse Action Plan. The group will talk about the impacts of overdose as well as substance abuse treatment programs. Today's event will be over at NC State's McKimmon Center from 9 until noon.
A North Carolina trial judge has refused a Republican Party request. That was to block UNC students and employees from showing digital IDs to vote. GOP groups sued last week to halt the use of the mobile UNC One card as a qualifying ID. The groups argue state law only allows the State Board of Elections to approve physical cards. The mobile UNC One card was approved August 20th by the board's Democratic majority.
Tensions are rising in Israel and Lebanon. Just ahead, the vow a Hezbollah leader made after Israeli strikes and exploding devices killed dozens this week.
And a recall you parents with little ones, you're going to want to know about. The baby powder brand that is being recalled because of a possible risk of asbestos.
And it's going to feel a bit like summer over the weekend. It's going to be warm and humid, and we will have a chance for thunderstorms. I'll walk you through the timeline on Futurecast coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:12, taking a live look at Carolina Beach. A little bit of fog here this morning. A little hard to see the beach there, but it should be a really nice weekend at the beach or here or wherever you're headed. We do have a medium rip current danger from about Surf City all the way up through the Outer Banks, so keep that in mind, of course, if you're headed to the beach. This time of year, though, such a great time to be at the beach. The water's still warm. Temperatures are going to feel summer-like, mainly in the low to mid-80s, and we'll see partly cloudy skies with just a small chance for showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. A very summer-like feel. Of course, fall officially starts on Sunday. A little bit of color starting to pop up, say, at Grandfather Mountain if you're headed to the mountains this weekend, but the best color comes a little bit later in October. Anthony?
And we head out to the roads this morning, Elizabeth. We're tracking actually a fairly quiet day so far, thankfully, but you can see no crashes showing up on the map at the moment. We don't have anything to worry about at the time being, but we'll continue to track that pretty closely for you. We take a live look out there right now, I-440 at Lake Boone Trail. Everything moving along smoothly, but you can see that morning congestion continuing to build. We'll keep a close eye on it for you through the morning.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, a really tough morning for firefighters at an Orange County fire station this morning. And here's why. This is the crash that we're talking about involving that fire truck. Several of their colleagues were injured in this crash. Investigators say a vehicle swerved to avoid a ladder on that freeway and crashed into that fire truck. Several people in the passenger vehicle and several of the firefighters were flown to nearby hospitals with serious injuries. The fire chief says the crew was ending a shift after fighting a nearby airport fire. If any new details come out about this story, I'll be sure to update you here in the WRAL Live Center.
Israel and Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah are exchanging strikes. This, as the Israeli military says, it is focusing its war efforts north toward Lebanon. People in Lebanon spent the day mourning after pager and walkie-talkie explosions left dozens dead and hundreds injured this week. A Hezbollah leader said the organization suffered an unprecedented blow. As that speech was being broadcast, Israeli warplanes moved over Beirut, adding to the tension. That leader vowed Hezbollah will stop firing on Israel when Israel stops its war in Gaza. The Israeli military says it struck 100 Hezbollah rocket launchers.
Federal investigators accuse social media and streaming companies of collecting and selling personal information on users and non-users. Federal investigators call it a vast surveillance of anyone using some of the most popular social media and streaming apps. This includes Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, X, Snapchat, TikTok, Reddit, WhatsApp, and Discord. Investigators say these companies are gathering information about the user's age, gender, location, even marital status and income. This information is then used to target ads and sold to third parties. Many of the companies have denied these claims or declined to comment on the report. And parents, please pay attention. There is a major recall of a baby powder brand you're going to want to know about. The FDA says Dynarex Corporation recalled its Dynacare baby powder because of the possible risk of asbestos. The company says 62 cases of 14-ounce plastic bottles with item number 4875 has the potential to be contaminated. The baby powder was delivered to 12 states, including North Carolina, and sold on Amazon. The expiration date is December 28th, 2026. You're advised to stop using that product and return it for a full refund. So far, though, no illnesses have been reported. From festivals to concerts, there are a lot of ways to get out and about this weekend.
Let's take a look at the best bets for this weekend, starting off with some big concerts. Singer Jelly Roll will bring his Beautifully Broken tour to Raleigh tonight. He will be performing at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. Tickets are still available.
Still getting used to saying that, right? The Centerfest Arts Festival is happening tomorrow and Sunday in Durham. The Durham Arts Council is presenting this event. It features an art market and 4 stages of live live music and performances. Gates open at 10 a.m. tomorrow and 11 a.m. on Sunday. Admission is free, but there is a suggested donation of $5 per adult at the gates to help fund the annual event. WRAL is a proud community partner of Centerfest.
Weather should be nice for that, and there are 2 cultural festivals happening in the area this weekend as well. Tomorrow, Festa Italiana is happening in Apex. This includes live entertainment and cooking demonstrations, food trucks, street vendors, and a kid zone. It is all happening on Hunt Street and Town Hall campus from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday. Admission is free. And then in Morrisville, there is an international festival on Saturday as well. That's from 2 to 6 p.m. That is on Town Hall Drive. There will also be food trucks and vendors and live performances. Admission is free. To find out more about these events, go to WRAL.com and search keyword out and about. The last weekend of summer, the festival's getting them all in and packing in the crowds.
That's why I would be surprised if anyone goes, there's nothing to do this weekend. There's so much going on this weekend and a beautiful weekend to do it. Elizabeth Gardner is tracking your weather forecast. And honestly, Saturday, Sunday, just get outside.
You know, and it's still going to feel like summer. You know, if you want to get on the lake, even it's going to be nice there. Just a tiny chance of a thunderstorm. We take a look this morning at Fayetteville and in Apex. Apex looking a little bit foggy here on the camera. Chapel Hill's pretty clear. And I want you to see this version of our Raleigh camera. This is from the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. See that glow right there? That's the moon starting to set. It was so pretty coming in. It's not full. At this point, it was full a little earlier this week, but it still looks gorgeous out there. The Sandhills have seen a good bit of fog this morning. The sensor is down right now in Southern Pines, unfortunately, but I'm going to venture a guess. It's about a quarter-mile visibility there. Other than that, 5 to 10 mile visibility. That means we're going to see a little bit of low cloud cover in some places, but as the sun comes up, I think we're going to have some really pretty sunrise views. Pretty quiet. We're not looking at any rain this morning. As we get through the day, expect partly cloudy skies and just a 20% chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon. We're going to see those big towering cumulus clouds like we saw yesterday, and that's going to bring us that chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm, and then we will put that on repeat again for Saturday and for Sunday. It's going to be warm, summer-like out there with those just isolated thunderstorms. The only difference, Saturday night, there may be some more widespread showers and thunderstorms. That's going to be midnight to around 3 or 4 in the morning. Most of us should be asleep. So 20% Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then we'll be watching for next week. We've got 0 on Tuesday right now. As we get farther into the week, we may have to add a little rain for Tuesday, too. Here in the tropics, these 2 systems just don't look like they're going to get their act together, which is just fine. A 30% chance for those. But we are definitely watching what's happening here in the Caribbean. Near the Yucatan Peninsula, this system could develop, move over into the Gulf of Mexico or the Bay of Campeche, and then potentially move up into the United States along the Gulf Coast. The models are really spread on that, though. Take a look. The red is one model and the white is another. And we see the low pressure system, or that system, staying down in the lower Gulf of Mexico with model number 1. Model number 2 wants to, by Friday of next week, bring it on up to the United States. It's something that we're watching very closely. The impact for us could be next weekend, some rain. But again, that's a long way away. This weekend, Sunday, of course, is the first day of fall. Ironically, it looks like the warmest day of the week at 87. But, you know, we'll get some pretty weather in our forecast as we get into the fall. I mean, October is something I think that a lot of people look forward to around here.
I'm looking forward to the colors and, heading to the mountains or camping or something like that with those colors, Elizabeth. We check in here with the traffic situation out there right now. We're looking pretty good. Things are pretty smooth as we get ready to head into the weekend. Here's a look at I-440 at Lake Boone Trail. You can see that morning congestion, if you will, starting to get going, but we're not talking about any major crashes there. We head here across the city of Raleigh and Durham. No major problems to report. I-40 also looking great, but we will continue to keep a close eye on it for you through the morning.
Nice that there's no rain out there to mess up the commute. Anthony, thank you. A pro-Palestinian protest left UNC Chapel Hill buildings covered in spray paint. A demonstrator explains why they vandalized those buildings and tried to disrupt class.
Plus, this morning, reactions from local leaders after CNN's report on Mark Robinson that says he made disturbing comments on a porn website.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Keith Urban has a new album out today.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's trending. The album, called High, is his first release in nearly 4 years. Take a listen to one of the songs. It's a collaboration with Lainey Wilson. Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. The album features 12 songs, in fact. The single Messed Up As Me, which you may have heard on the radio. And, like I said, I don't typically listen to country. That was actually nice. Maybe I'll listen to it.
Yeah, it's got a good hook, doesn't it?
We'll have to ease into the rest of the album, though.
And Chris, you mentioned it's been 4 years since he released an album. Well, he actually wrote an album 2 years ago and then decided, no, I'm not going to do it. I can do something else here. And so then he came out with this one.
See, what you do is you hold on to that one, and then you just, bam, just release it all quietly.
Netflix is not going quietly on this one. It's about to release a holiday special featuring Sabrina Carpenter this December. It's called A Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina. The variety special will include tunes from the singer's holiday album and then also covers of holiday classics.
Yeah, and a lot of people will be looking forward to that. It seems like she and Chaperone have been super popular lately, so I would
they are hot right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if she pops up in there as a cameo too.
Yeah. Should be an interesting special. Well, check this out. The scene near Statesville, North Carolina, caught some drivers' attention. Yes, that's a herd of goats running down the highway Monday morning. With the help of law enforcement, the goats were led back to where they belong. They all stayed safe.
Yeah, I always like to slow down if I ever see wildlife. I picked up a turtle the other day just to make sure it's okay. All right, LA Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani has made Major League Baseball history. Get this, he became the first player to become a member of the 50-50 club during the Dodgers game against the Miami Marlins yesterday. A 50-50 season consists of 50-plus home runs and 50-plus stolen bases in a single season. Ohtani hit his 50th homer of the season in the top of the 7th inning after stealing his 50th and 51st base earlier in the game. The game was Ohtani's first 3-home run game of his career. Congrats to him.
And we do have a small chance of a thunderstorm later this afternoon, but generally today will be partly cloudy. The weekend is going to feel very summery. I'll show you what that means coming up.
Plus, Mark Robinson vows not to drop out of the governor's race after a CNN report about comments he made online. Why his fellow Republicans say he is not an example of the GOP party they joined.
And dozens of law enforcement officers are searching for someone they say escaped custody in Fayetteville. We'll take you to where their search is focused.